Hello everyone, continuing on with scenario 2 in the Age of Apocalypse box, trying to beat every scenario in this box on heroic difficulty using heroes from the same wave. And so today we've got the Four Horsemen scenario, against which I'll be using a Jubilee leadership deck to try to take it down. And heroic difficulty, this is where we deal 1 extra encounter card during the encounter phase, or during the villain phase. So a very difficult scenario, but I think we've picked a good matchup that'll give us some tricks to help us take it down. So I'll talk about the scenario a bit here. You can skip to the deck or straight to the gameplay if that's what you're interested in. But I'll talk about the scenario here just for some baseline. So we'll start with these four different villains. They'll be on the B side for heroic difficulty. They each start with 12 health, and they have this ability where when they attack, if they have at least 1 hit point, you do something. And so they also all have the text that they can't be defeated while another villain has at least 1 hit point. So what does that mean? Well, we can still bring them down to 0 hit points, but they still sort of activate as if they were still alive. So we don't win the game until every single one is at 0 health points. But because of the language of that response after they attack, if we've reduced their hit points down to 0, they don't trigger this ability when they attack us. So for example, with War here, after War attacks, if he has at least 1 hit point, discard an upgrade or support you control. So if he has 1 or more hit point, we trigger that ability after he attacks. If he's down to 0, he still attacks if he's the active villain, but we don't trigger that forced response. So at the start of the game, we'll put the active villain counter on, we'll randomize the order and put it on 1. And then our main scheme tells us that after a villain activates, we move it to the next villain. And so it'll progress throughout the 4 villains throughout the game. As far as encounter cards go, they've each got 1 more that lets them activate sort of out of turn. So a little less predictable than it might otherwise be. At the start of the game, we'll also get one of these four Horsemen side schemes at random. They sort of correspond with each of the villains. They have a when defeated ability that's the same as the forced responses when they attack, but they also have an icon on them while in play. So easily the worst one is the Ravages of War. Especially on turn 1, it can be hard to have a hand capable of thwarting this for 6, giving us an extra encounter card then in the villain phase. But they all come in with 6, and yeah, that's kind of high for a side scheme. So they're pretty tricky. You got to make sure we have some good scheming in the deck to deal with those. Some interesting attachments here. The Golden Horse. Basically, while it's attached, it's +1/+1 to stats, so that's already something. But then it's considered to have at least 1 hit point as long as this is attached. So we can never win the game as long as one of these is still attached. And if we reduce it down to 0, it still triggers its forced response upon attacking if it has the Golden Horse. And we can get rid of them by attacking that villain that it's on and triggering its forced response as if it had just attacked us. So they're not too bad to get rid of, but can definitely foil our endgame plans by keeping villains alive. Metal Wings, basically the same, except Death does not ride a horse, Death flies. So gives him Retaliate 1. Yeah, basically the same though. Rough Riders, this is kind of an interesting one. It triggers these forced response abilities of 2 villains, the active villain, then the active counter moves and we do it again. So kind of always need to be aware of sort of what can come from those forced responses, even if our villains are stunned or confused. For modular sets, just playing with the recommended ones today. Dystopia Nightmare is a really easy one, so this is going to help us try to win eventually. You know, turns where we draw these encounter cards tend to be pretty good turns. Hunted only takes 1 card from hand to discard. War Weary just stuns us. Targeted for Extermination is a little worse. Have to thwart it for 3 and then we're confused, but still far from what some of these other cards are. Hounds is another one that's not too bad. The Hound, which is there's 4 copies of, is only a 2 health minion, does auto attack us in hero form, but very easy to kill. Ahab is much worse though. Ahab is a 5 health tough minion that brings out a 5 threat side scheme, which has some bad abilities on it as well. All right, we're just playing standard 1, and that's what we've got. So I wanted to pick for this matchup a hero who can maybe take advantage, or a hero or deck that can take advantage of the multiple villains out, to see if we can abuse any cards there. So let's see how we did that with this Jubilee leadership deck. All right, so here we have our Jubilee leadership deck. Jubilee is a hero whose gimmick is generating multiple different resource types to play her events, and that grants her events some type of bonus. And the key one that really made me want to use her in this matchup is Blinding Flash. So it costs 3, and if we spend, or however many different resource types we spend, we can stun and confuse that many enemies. So in our case, with the 4 Horsemen, we always have 4 villains in play at all times. So if we pick 3 of them to stun and confuse, we can get basically 6 status cards applied with this one card. And so this is definitely a card I'll hope to play whenever I see it in the deck, and that's just going to be hugely valuable for us. So with the stunning and confusing there, the stunning and confusing among Firecracker and Flash of Light, we should be able to stop a lot of these activations, especially because each of these villains, they have some on attack ability, so if we can keep them stunned as long as possible, we won't get slowed down by those. Now the rest of the deck, the actual leadership cards, it's going to resemble a bit of my other leadership decks because there's some just really strong leadership cards that go in basically every deck that when you're trying to make a deck with as high a win rate as possible. You're going to have your Nick Furies, Mockingbird, Professor X, your rapid responses, your make the calls. These are just really, really high power cards to up our win rate, but I try to find some kind of wrinkle to make it a little more interesting. And an idea that I got really excited by for this matchup is using Squirrel Girl. When she enters, we deal 1 damage to each enemy, so that would include all 4 villains who are in play at the same time. I've also played 2 copies of Call for Aid, which lets us discard from our deck until we hit an Avenger. And Squirrel Girl, you'll notice, is the only Avenger we're playing, so this is a guaranteed draw of Squirrel Girl. So I'm hoping that between playing her, between rapid response, make the calls, that we'll actually have a fun opportunity to, deal 3 damage to every villain. Play her, rapid response, her back in, maybe she blocks, do a make the call. So we can really whittle down their HP using Squirrel Girl. I think that could be a really interesting thing to do. So then because of the Call for Aid, and also because of Famine, so Famine's on attack ability makes us discard 10 cards from the top of our deck. So we have quite a bit of discarding from deck. So I'm playing the Digging Deep White Fox package for a little bit more spice. So Digging Deep, these are resource cards that get added to hand when they're discarded from the top of our deck, and they're wild resources, which works really well with Jubilee. And then White Fox, when she's discarded, she just comes straight into play. So that's insane if that happens. We just get a free 3-cost ally for no resource investment at all. Really, really strong. Okay, so just kind of to round it out, X-Gene is another great card with Jubilee, generates wild resources for her identity-specific events. Weapon X I like because it's another way to discard cards to add Digging Deep or White Fox to hand. But it's also just a good value play. One of the villains, War, his attack ability is to discard upgrades and supports. So I don't want to go too crazy with 3-cost or 4-cost supports that could just be taken out from under us. So you'll notice all the supports that we are playing, or all the upgrades and supports we are playing, they're either cheap or, I guess I haven't talked about Command Team yet. Rapid Response is something that'll get used immediately pretty much whenever we play it. Command Team is a card that has 3 uses, so hopefully we can at least get 1 or 2 uses out of it before needing to discard it. Command Team I really like in any deck that's playing Nick Fury and Professor X. These allies both get discarded at the end of the round, but they have 3 hit points, so we can use them once normally. Command Team can ready them to activate again, using that second hit point, and then they still have that third hit point to block with. So really like the value of Command Team. And it also helps us kind of do some of these burst kills with Squirrel Girl where we can play her, activate twice so that she dies, so we can rapid response or make the call her back into play. The last card, Call for Backup, just another really great leadership card, another way to get an extra trigger off of Squirrel Girl, but in many cases just going to get Nick Fury or maybe Wolverine, fantastic identity-specific ally. That's very expensive, but comes in for free when defeated with Call for Backup. So there we go. I mean, a lot of sort of classic, powerful leadership stuff, but some interesting wrinkles that will hopefully make for an exciting game. So we'll see how it goes. So to get started here, we'll randomize the order of our 4 villains. And we reveal a random one of the side schemes from the 4 Horsemen set. Guess I can roll for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. Okay, Time of Famine. Not the Ravages of War, which is the worst one with that hazard icon. And in fact, combos well with our copies of Digging Deep and White Fox. All right, so with War going first, need to be careful. Any upgrade or support we play will get discarded if War attacks. So we either need to stun War or play something that, or not play any upgrades or supports. The order of them doesn't matter too much, given the encounter cards that make the active counter bounce around. But Famine being second, Famine is the one we want to see attacking most. Discarding cards from deck, it's like a fourth of an encounter card. Not that bad, all things considered. So in our opening hand, so given that War is first, we might not keep Weapon X or XG in these cards we would usually keep. Maybe we try to get Wolverine out first. Maybe we just get Squirrel Girl going a little bit. Or we answer Time of Famine, I guess, would be the ideal thing to do. All right. Let's start on Alter Ego. All right. So Flash of Light does give me, especially with 2, I could clear Time of Famine right away. Let's try that instead. So with 2 of those especially, we could just straight up clear Time of Famine. Obviously we don't need these. Yeah, if not one of these, the ideal hand to clear this would be one of these and Professor X, or Professor X and Command Team. I mean, we don't have to answer this right away, but confusing those enemies is really nice too. I'm not going to play rapid response because of war attacking us, and so I might as well discard power of leadership as well. I'm not worried about getting two different resource types for this. Okay. Unfortunately, we drew the shopping spree, so we don't get to thin that out of the deck for free. Also drew White Fox and another Digging Deep. So kind of a unfortunate start, but I do like that we're going to be able to clear this. So, I mean, I've got enough from hand to just play both of these. You know what, before I flip here. No, okay, if I fit in shopping spree, I need to use Jubilee's hero ability for the resource. I'm also tempted to play Command Team, just because having that on the spot value for a future turn once Professor X comes out can be really nice. But we've got more command teams in the deck. These Flash of Lights are looking good here. So either I play this or I get one extra thwart or attack from Jubilee. I mean, I just never really am going to have time to clear this, I don't think. So, okay, yeah, I'll do one more damage somewhere. Let's attack. I'm going to attack Famine for one. She's the one we're going to want to stun the least. And so the Firecracker, which does damage and a stun. In the interest of kind of balancing out all the damage, is my thought process there. So then we'll spend a wild and an energy for Flash of Light number 1. Remove 3 threat, and since we use 2 different resource types, we'll confuse an enemy. So we're going to go on Famine first, because after War activates, this will move to Famine, and in case we draw an advance or something. And so then I got a wild and energy again for the second Flash of Light. Okay. So defeats that, confuse an enemy. So I'm tempted to do Pestilence here just because Pestilence has 3 scheme. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So vulnerable to this attack, but we did, oh, and then we discard 10 cards from defeating this. Okay, only had 1 Digging Deep left in the deck, but we did not see it there. And just hope we don't get attacked too many times now, with no blockers available. Okay, so War attacks. We're not going to block, coming in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we trigger this, discard an upgrade or support, which we have none. Moves to the next villain, Famine. And have a look at our 2 encounter cards. Okay, Hound hits us for 2 more, but generally not that bad of a card to draw. And War Weary, we are stunned. All right, those Dystopian Nightmare cards, really the cards that will help us pull ahead because they're so weak on average. All right, so I mean, next turn will be pretty safe here because we'll get to go to Alter Ego. Although considering what's actually in our hand, You know, Nick Fury doesn't mind blocking for us if we stay in hero form. I think I want to play Nick Fury, draw 3 either way, so we'll just do that first. Even if I have to discard him end of turn, I think it's still worth it. So draw 3. So Call for Aid, we did see Squirrel Girl go into the discard pile already. So we could just play out Rapid Response and Jubilee's Coat to keep developing. Nick Fury obviously can attack Hound. The alternative is just Grand Finale and do a lot of damage, but doesn't build up our board presence. So let's pay 2 for Jubilee's Coat, +1 thwart. When we play thwarts, we can remove extra threat for each different resource type spent. Pay 2 for Rapid Response. So especially with Rapid Response, I could Rapid Response Nick this villain phase, get another draw 3, have another block. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Famine's attack trigger isn't that bad. If it moves to Pestilence, Pestilence's attack trigger isn't that bad. Yeah, I think we definitely just stay here. I'll attack to remove my stun, given that we want to play Firecrackers eventually, and end the turn there. Alright, so 1 on the main scheme. Famine attacks, Nick Fury blocks, coming in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will trigger Rapid Response. After the ally is defeated, put it back into play and deal 1 damage. When he enters, we'll draw 3 cards. So kind of just Rapid Response replacing itself there, right? It costs 3 total resources. We just drew 3 cards, but if we get another block out of it, then that is really good value. Famine activated, so we'll discard 10 cards. Actually, that probably should have... should that have triggered first? So what would go first, after Famine attacks or after an ally is defeated? Yeah, I'm not sure about it. Let me know if I'm wrong. I would say... at the very least, it's like the same, well, it's not this... I believe if it's not the same window. Yeah, I'm gonna say I did this right, but I'm not too sure on that. It would basically mean, because we're gonna discard, we would have discarded these cards anyways. So would the new cards be from the reshuffled deck or not? But anyways, Famine makes us discard the top 10 cards of our deck. We only have 4 to discard. We run out the deck and get an extra encounter card. And then this will move to Pestilence. All right, so then we get dealt 2 encounter cards. And see what we get. All right, Ahab's a pretty bad one. So it comes in tough, and then we reveal Release the Hounds. So that gives the first Hound revealed each phase Surge. When we defeat it, we have to deal ourselves another copy of the Hound. Okay, Exhaustion Surges. All right, another side scheme. I was doing the side schemes over here. Let's do that again. So when we defeat that, we'll be confused. Okay, heal 2 damage from Famine. And give her a tough status card. She activates. All right, so we do get an opportunity to use Nick as a blocker again. So coming in for 2, so Nick will die. Okay, and then the wording on this, so after a villain activates, move the active counter to the next villain. So it's kind of weird, but so Famine activated, so a villain activated. So even though it wasn't Pestilence, this is going to move on to Death. Oh, and then Famine activated, so we discard the top 10 cards of the deck. White Fox is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another Digging Deep. And these cards don't care how they're discarded. It can be from an encounter card, it can be from our own effect. But when it's discarded, it comes into play. So lots of stuff to deal with, but lots of cards in hand. Wolverine would definitely be nice to get this, to do a piercing attack here onto Ahab. Professor X, obviously always good for thwarting, but we aren't in a huge rush or a huge need to thwart immediately. Especially since we're flipping to Alter Ego here this turn, I think Wolverine is a must play. So I'm also thinking make the call Maria Hill to kick things off. Lets us use the power of leadership to double up. A little extra thwarting. So I'm going to do that. Make the call, paying power of leadership for Maria Hill. Enters, we'll draw. Ooh, and a double resource at that. So Death scheming, I don't mind too much. These two together can take out targeted for extermination. So if I go 4 for Wolverine, that leaves me with this. So I could just play Professor X off of that, but my allies are full, so maybe not. Could play Command Team. A little low health, which I don't love. If I played Professor X, I could ready and then recover when I flip down. I think I'm just going to play Command Team here. I guess I keep Professor X in hand though. So we'll pay 4 for Wolverine. So we'll attack with piercing on Ahab. So my idea is to ready Wolverine after a flip and heal, which I guess we're doing that now. So flip to alter ego form, which heals Wolverine for 3. Because command team is not a hero action, it's just an action. We'll pay 2 for command team. Really nice to have command team plus Professor X in hand. Lets us deal with any of those 6 threat for Horsemen schemes as soon as they come out. So now, I guess I should just take Ahab off the board rather than finish this. Oh no, what am I thinking? So ready, Wolverine. Have Wolverine finish off Ahab. Have these 2 finish off targeted for extermination, which does confuse me. And we'll end the turn. Before I end the turn, remember that Shopping Spree got reshuffled back in, so we'll do Jubilee's action basically to get it out of the deck, because opportunities don't really come up to remove threat from that. All right, 1 on the main scheme. Death schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 8 on the main scheme. This hasn't really timed out perfectly with my confuses, because if we do draw an advance, there is a good chance we lose. So 2 encounter cards. Okay, so heal 2 from Pestilence and give her a tough. She activates. So luckily that does hit the confuse. And it will not move the active counter because a villain did not actually activate. And then grounded. So an additional cost to change to hero form, we have to spend 2 resources of the same type. When revealed, change to alter ego, but we're already there. After you play a Jubilee event, remove this card from the game. Well, we're not going to get it this turn. I mean, we could play Grand Finale, but it's just not that good of a thing to play right now. So maybe the best turn might just be playing Grand Finale. Clear up an ally slot, play Professor X. Well, yeah, if I play Professor X, I can thwart quite a bit, like I was saying. So, I mean, Professor X seems like a good way to spend the turn, as opposed to Grand Finale. All right, so I do want to recover because we're getting low. So I'll flip to hero form, And as a cost, I need to pay, so I'm going to pay two physicals of the same type. So we'll clear up the Mariah Hills spot. Thwart for 2 on Release the Hounds. Then we've got 3 for Professor X. When he enters, I suppose I should... so confusing a villain is always very good. Readying Jubilee could be good here. I think just confusing is always so good when we do it. I think same logic as before. Do Pestilence just because she has the most scheme. But we've already seen one of Pestilence's specific cards. Yeah, I think we'll just hit Pestilence. Then I will thwart, release the Hounds for 3. So when defeated, we search up a copy of Hound and deal it to ourselves face down. I think it's not that bad of an encounter card to draw, so I'll draw one that was in the discard pile. Use Command Team to ready Professor X. Thwart for 3 more on the main scheme. Of Wolverine, thwart for 1. Ooh, that could be bad if Death gets an extra attack. Yeah, I'm just going to wait on Wolverine. If Death somehow attacks, deals 1 damage to each character. That feels really bad if it kills Wolverine. Same logic, maybe White Fox shouldn't attack. Wait for a minion or side scheme to come out to use up her last point of value before she blocks. Okay. Okay, we do have a Jubilee event there. So we'll get a chance to clear grounded. Start with 1 on the main scheme. So War attacks, Professor X blocks. Ooh, Shadow of the Past gone is nice to see. So after War attacks, we discard an upgrade or support. So Command Team's only got 1 use left. Fine discarding that. And this active counter moves to Famine. And 2 more encounter cards. First we know is the Hound, which will attack us, being in hero form. Discard an upgrade or support. So the coat is all we have. Alright, attached to the villain with the fewest hit points. Gets +1/+1 and is always considered to have at least 1 hit point. Okay, so it's basically just who do I least want, or who do I feel fine making them trigger their forced response. I might not do this for a while though. Probably, I think Pestilence is the safest one. Jubilee doesn't mind her text box being blank. Okay. So I will begin by thwarting to remove my confusion. Okay, so I'm definitely going to play... Oh, what? Okay. Do I seriously have... I have 4 mental resource cards in hand. That is unlucky. Well, okay, that just means I miss out on the Confuse. I can still play Flash of Light, but I just don't get the bonus Confusion. Huh, that is unlucky. So with that, I have enough left to play either Weapon X or Call for Backup. Oh, but I have Shopping Spree in play. Maybe I should not have dug that out. Because you can only have one player side scheme at a time. So I will just play Weapon X then. All right, so here's 2 for Flash of Light. Removing 3 from the main scheme. Flip to Alter Ego, which heals Wolverine. Wolverine will attack and kill the Hound. And we'll play 1 for Weapon X. Oh, and yeah, remove this from the game. All right, 1 on the main scheme. Famine is confused. And 2 encounter cards. Okay, Spectre of Death. So when defeated, we do 1 damage to each character. And another Golden Horse. Still all have the same amount of hit points. Can't double it up on the same one. I think we'll go Famine. Again, just another response I don't super mind having to trigger that an additional time. All right, so we've got Make the Call. We could get Professor X back. And we could clear this right away with Command Team. Have our blocker ready. So I don't know if one of these is an identity specific card. Otherwise I would use Weapon X. So we're going to do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, okay, I clearly missed. Oh, I don't think I counted the resource cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's a resource card, and I think it's the one that lets me stun and confuse a bunch of enemies, which actually might not be a bad play this turn. So I will activate Weapon X. So it's either the resource card or the Blinding Flash. There it is. So that's pretty appealing, actually. We could hit Death, Famine, and War. But Professor X is also remains an appealing option. So I do think I need to recover. Just always need to keep an eye on that. And Blinding Flash is really strong, though. The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning to Blinding Flash. The Amplify icon isn't so bad, especially if everybody is stunned and confused. So I think we can start by playing X-Gene. I don't think I'm playing Firecracker this turn. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 for Blinding Flash. So just to be efficient, I can make the call for Maria Hill. Or I could make the call for Nick Fury. But that doesn't... No, I would have to spend the Blinding Flash. So make the call, spending 2 for Maria Hill. Draw a card. So we run out of the deck. I'd say this has been a good game so far. We dodged Shadow of the Past, but Ahab is kind of a Shadow of the Past because it's a tough minion and a big threatening side scheme. So I don't think we've gotten too lucky, but we are having some good success anyways. And again, I'm just not going to attack with Wolverine because, or wait, no, that, well, Thwart is what I would do. But if Death somehow attacks, that is pretty bad. But Death is about to be stunned, so I think don't actually need to think about that. I could keep digging deep in hand if I wanted. That seems pretty bad. Okay, flip to hero form. Spend 3 different types of resources, which lets us stun and confuse 3 enemies. So I'll just do the 3 that don't already have a status, just so we apply as many statuses as possible. And there we go. That's why I picked this matchup. I don't know why I picked that up. Oh, because oh, that was there, right? Yeah, because Warhead attacked. I think that's supposed to be there. Well, this is why I picked this matchup, because of the alignment of the Blinding Flash with multiple heroes. So glad we get to see that in action. Maria Hill, might as well start thwarting on this. And yeah, I'll do it with White Fox as well. I'll need to clear up one of these ally slots, potentially. Okay. So 1 on the main scheme. So Famine is stunned. 2 more encounter cards. Advance, so that'll take off the confusion. If it activates again, it'll definitely happen. All right, so Famine is going to attack, but we do have blockers. Just double checking Golden Horse. Yeah, it doesn't, just gives it +1/+1, and it's considered to still have 1 hit point. Doesn't add anything else to the attack. But we'll have White Fox block this one. Attack coming in for 3/3. Ooh, and under Fire Gone. That's really nice to see. All right, and then after Famine attacks, we discard the top 10 of our deck. Oop, there's Digging Deep. well, I'll just do them all so you can count to 10 and then. All right, so the one digging deep is good. And this will move to the next villain. And another golden horse. So only these two options. I think there will probably come a time where I don't really mind dealing 1 damage to each character. Okay, so now I really like how this is looking. Might be turning a corner here. So we could play out the coat. I mean, any number of good plays from hand. We can play, well, we can basically only play 2 of these 2-cost things. So I always like Squirrel Girl. Kind of want to recover. Might have a window to clear Shopping Spree over the next 2 turns. I just really don't think I should be in a rush to clear Golden Horse. Well, I like Command Team because the combo with Professor X and Nick Fury is so strong. So we've seen 1 advance. We've seen both advances. There's still, don't remember if there's 2 of each of these Horsemen cards or not. Just wondering how much to play around, you know. Obviously the Confuse stops the first scheme there, but then do we lose from another scheme? She's going to scheme with 4 plus potentially a boost scheme. Okay. All right, so I want to defeat this. This is going to deal 1 damage to each character. So it's going to kill Maria Hill anyways, so I'm going to thwart for 2 on this. I might just thwart. Yeah, we'll leave Shopping Spree. Okay, finish this off for 1. So we'll deal 1 damage to each character we control. So the coat is a more developing play. The developing play would be Command Team and coat. That just inches us farther ahead. I know I love Squirrel Girl, but I think we can let ourselves build up a little bit more. Pay 2 for Jubilee's coat. Pay 2 for Command Team. Flip to Alter Ego, which heals 3 from Wolverine. And I think I actually will thwart 1 off the main scheme, just to keep us safe there. Ooh, Nick Fury is nice. All right, 1 on the main scheme. Pestilence is confused. 2 encounter cards. Okay, Hunted, love to see that one. And a Hound, which flips us to hero form. So, really don't mind that at all. Gives us a quicker use to heal up Wolverine. Doesn't let me block an attack with Nick. It's probably, I like Flash of Light here just to confuse Pestilence for this upcoming turn. Yeah, I think Wolverine's my best option to take out Hound. So I could play one, 2 for Flashlight, 2 for Glasses. I could just make the call Maria Hill back again, or I could make the call oh, I need to make sure I have 1 resource left over there. So if I make the call, yeah, if I make the call Squirrel Girl, I'm doing a lot of math in my head here. If I make the call Squirrel Girl, 1, 2 for Flash of Light, 1, 2 for Sunglasses, but that's what leaves me nothing to deal with Hunted. Whereas if I make the call for Maria Hill instead, I have a card in hand that I can use there. Yep, I'll make the call. Make the call Maria Hill. Draw a card. All right, so a wild and a mental for Flash of Light on the main scheme. 2 different resources will confuse Pestilence. Yeah, I think I'm, yeah. Flip to Alter Ego. Alter Ego action on Shopping Spree. Oh, I've just realized that I'll have both my items in play once I clear the Shopping Spree. Okay, so having realized that, instead of spending Make the Call, I'm gonna spend the Sunglasses for playing the Flash of Light. So then I'll Alter Ego action Shopping Spree. We'll do Weapon X. Put Firecracker to hand. I'll discard that to get rid of Hunted. And then I'll make the call, paying 2 for Squirrel Girl. First, I guess this is the first Squirrel Girl of the game. But we'll do 1 to everybody. Really nice how efficiently that hits off these tough cards as well. And I think just keep the main scheme. clear as we can and end the turn. Okay, one card left in the deck. One on the main scheme, Pestilence Confused. 2 encounter cards. All right, the worst of the 4 Horsemen side schemes, but we're in a good position to probably clear it. And then Rough Riders. So we'll resolve. Oh, did I forget to heal Wolverine here when I flipped? I must have. Oops. Because, yeah, we killed the Hound, then we flipped. Okay. Forgot to heal for 3 there. So we resolve this forced response, so our identity is going to be treated as blank. Then move to the next villain and resolve its forced response the same way. So we're going to deal 1 damage to each character you control. So unfortunately that kills Squirrel Girl. But not that bad of an encounter card overall. And we don't move back off of that. Okay. So, I mean, I do really want to recover here, as nice as it would be to finish off Shopping Spree. I can also, so making the call for either Professor X or Nick Fury looks pretty good right here. Yeah, Nick Fury in particular, Professor X in particular, because then we can completely finish off the Ravages of War. We do have Flash of Light, though, which could also get rid of that. It's still going to take me 3 turns to clear those golden horses. Be kind of annoying. So we still have a ways to go just for winning the game, but I do think we're pretty comfortable. Yeah, I just need to recover here. I need to do a count again to know if that's a identity specific card. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is not a card that we can draw with Weapon X. All right, gonna flip. As nice as Professor X is, we've got Flash of Light plus Jubilee's Coat to really remove a lot of threat. So maybe I do just do Nick Fury. Did I do anything in hero form yet? No, you haven't done anything yet. Okay, yeah, because if I make the call Nick Fury now, then then I will have something to draw with Weapon X. So, okay, I'm gonna make the call for 1, 2, 3, 4. To get Nick Fury, draw 3 cards. So there's 1, 2 more coming. gain the shard draw. Okay, so basically I can play a Flash of Light and a Firecracker. If I Weapon X, does that actually give me anything extra? I could play Mockingbird instead of one of those, which I think I do like actually. Well, I do have to lose an ally spot though. So I'll just save the hit points, I guess. We'll flip up, spend a wild and a physical for Flash of Light. So remove 3 threat here. Use Jubilee's Coat to remove 2 additional threat. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the same threat, or it doesn't have to be the same scheme, but might as well be because it has 2 to remove from it. Then I'll Firecracker one of these guys. How about Pestilence? So spending the 2 that are different, the Firecracker. Or I said Pestilence, but I think I meant Famine. Hit Famine with the Firecracker. Oh, and I forgot to confuse someone when I did Flash of Light, so let's confuse, I guess we'll do Famine as well. Now Nick Fury will finish Ravages of War. Okay, we discard an Upraider support. We'll discard Weapon X. With 3 counters on still, I don't really want to discard Command Team. We'll ready Nick Fury. I want to attack someone now. So we'll spread the love. Go to Pestilence there. Save Wolverine's use for if we need to hit a minion with him. All right, 1 on the main scheme. Death is stunned. 2 more encounter cards. Okay, actually Shopping Spree doing a pretty nice solid here. Definitely never going to finish it anymore, but it gets 4 threat from Master Plan rather than us getting a new nasty side scheme from the encounter deck. All right, attached to the villain, and when an encounter card says the villain, it has to be the active counter. So +2 attack, overkill, and piercing. So really don't want to take any more attacks from death. At the end of the turn, Nick Fury is discarded. So just because we don't have much stuff to do, I might need to make the call here again for Nick Fury. Could do Mockingbird as well. Do really want to have Death stunned a lot. You know what, I could probably end up just doing both though if I needed to, because I've got 2 copies of Make the Call. So I'll make the call paying 4 for Nick Fury and draw 3 cards. And even another Command Team. Nothing to use X Gene on. Might use Jubilee for the resource here. That lets me play Mockingbird and have a card to discard for hunted. Or I actually think this is where I start trying to get some of these golden horses off the board. So this is so we've got White Fox and 2 Digging Deeps in the deck. So I might go for Famine here. So let's use up Mariah Hill first. I think either way there's going to be another ally coming in play. So we'll thwart this for 2. I'm going to attack Famine for 1. That allows me to trigger Golden Horse, resolve its force response as if it had just attacked. So we'll discard the top 10 from our deck. All right, so we got White Fox and 1 Digging Deep. So yeah, I can still just sacrifice Nick Fury's slot since he'll go away at the end of the round. So I can still get Mockingbird, that's still fine. I guess it was kind of lucky to hit the Digging Deep there, otherwise I wouldn't have enough for Mockingbird plus discarding that. So let's flip. Oops, nope, okay. We'll attack someone for 3. And let's, just to keep it even, go here. Also, if there's anyone to reduce to 0 earlier than the others, it's War. Makes us discards upgrades and supports. So now we'll flip down, which heals Wolverine for 3. All right, so discard 1 card to get rid of Hunted. Then we'll make the call, paying 3. Or sorry, let's hold on just a second. Let's use up Nick Fury first. So let's do 2 to Death. Ready with Command Team. Activate again. Let's do 2 to Pestilence. Really hoping we'll get an epic ending where we trigger Squirrel Girl like 3 times to kill everybody at once. All right, now we can pay 3 to make the call Mockingbird. So we'll stun Death just because of how brutal Death's attack is now, even though we'll be an alter ego for this turn. And then I think we want to just keep chipping damage in, so 2 more damage to throw around. Let's just do 2 more to Death. All right, try to play faster here as I think we're nearing our end point. Ooh, we've got Call for Aid, another card I was excited about that we haven't played yet, but that could help us get Squirrel Girl. I don't think we saw her yet. So 1 on the main scheme. Death is confused. 2 encounter cards. Surge. We're stunned. It does annoyingly stop us from attacking to get off the golden horses. Heal 2 damage from Death. give him a tough status card, he activates. So he's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a villain activated, so we move counter. I want to keep in mind that Professor X can be used to ready Jubilee, so that is a way to get multiple attacks done. Because really I'm under no threat here, so it's just those golden horses that are going to keep us from winning, I believe. Oh, but I have Firecracker. Oh, so I can... Oh, and Golden Horse, I didn't even read this. So this says after you attack attached villain. So it doesn't even need to be a basic attack, which for some reason I was assuming. So that's great news. Yeah, Firecracker... Oh no, code is... Never mind. So as much as I love Squirrel Girl, don't really think I need her now because I've got my ally slots full. I'll still draw her next turn. Okay, don't need to do anything in Alter Ego. I'll attack to remove my stun so that Firecracker actually hits. So pay a wild and a physical for Firecracker on Pestilence, just because it's the only one that's not currently stunned. Oh, and I guess because then I trigger Golden Horse. So my text box is treated as blank, which is not bad at all. So I like Rapid Response. For the imminent Squirrel Girl play. Kind of don't hate just still being conservative and doing Flash of Light on the main scheme. Kind of one of the only ways we can lose at this point, I think. So yeah, I will just... I guess I'll keep Call for Backup. I will play Flash of Light with 2 different resources. To remove 3 threat here. Confuse an enemy. Confuse the higher scheme 1. Exhaust the coat to remove 2 more threat. And I guess have Wolverine attack Death with my Strength 3 piercing attack. White Fox and Mockingbird can continue attacking. Wouldn't be crazy to win next turn, I don't think. Probably not, but okay, so we'll attack over here for 2. All right, so we'll deplete the deck. All right, 1 on the main scheme. War is stunned. 2 more encounter cards. Okay, trigger War's forced response, so discard an upgrade or support. Now I'll discard Command Team since it's on 1 left. Then we move this and do it again, so we discard 10 cards. Okay, no digging deeps to get this time. Okay, side scheme, which might be ignorable at this point in the game. And then War, heal 2 damage from War. And he activates. So we'll block with White Fox. Attacks for 5. Discard another upgrader support. I think I'll discard the Gene. And then a villain activated, so this will move to here. The Blinding Flash, not so good right now because got all the statuses I could want. So I'd probably just go for a 2-turn win rather than try to clear this. Might be foolish. Well, I think I play Squirrel Girl no matter what. We'll do 1 to everyone. I guess I don't have much thwarting to do even if I wanted to. Okay, so a Firecracker. I think War's on the most health, so we'll just go there. And the only not stunned enemy. Still need to get rid of Death's thing, but not in a rush. You know, maybe I will thwart for 2 just to be safe. Not actually sure you can win next turn. Two more Firecrackers are still in the deck. 6 more damage coming from Wolverine. Yeah, it might be possible. I think, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna have Mockingbird attack. Because I'm going to trigger the forced response here on Golden Horse, so Mockingbird would die anyways. So Mockingbird will attack here for 1. Jubilee will attack Death for 1. Trigger the forced response, so everyone will take a damage. To discard the Golden Horse. Flip to Alter Ego to heal for 3. And then attack for 3 on Famine. So everyone in a decent range where if we get the kind of Squirrel Girl combo turns I had in mind when building this deck, we could have, okay, well, didn't nearly draw that, but with Sunglasses plus Firecracker, that might be enough. Could be. Have to see what we get. 1 on the main scheme, Pestilence Confused. 2 encounter cards. Does run out the deck. Let's see what we got. Okay, side scheme that it's kind of off camera there, but hoping we're close to the end anyways. So side scheme that doesn't matter if we win this turn, and then this is going to surge. Okay, it depends what this card is, but okay, my phone unfortunately ran out of battery there, so that's the reason for the cut there. But I already drew my hand, so you can see that I didn't fix what was in my hand, and I'm still shuffling the encounter deck. So we will see what this last card is, and then possibly win after that. And it is a scheme. So as long as we don't lose, I think we still, or at least it shouldn't affect our ability to win this turn. So scheming for 1, 2, 3, 4, which puts it up to 6. Villain activated, so this will move. And I was counting damage as I shuffled, but we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and our total villain health is 12. So this might just work out perfectly. So paying 2 for the sunglasses. All of our golden horses are gone, so we don't have to worry about that. Flip to hero form. Spend 2 resources of different types for Firecracker, dealing 4 damage to death. Lets us use the sunglasses to do 2 damage to another enemy. So let's do 2 damage to War. Then Wolverine will attack Pestilence for 3. We'll attack Famine for 2 with a +1 buff from the sunglasses. And then Squirrel Girl attacks War for the final 1. So we've got all of them down to 0 at once now, so we have won the game. All right, so this didn't end up being as much of a Squirrel Girl sort of exploit as I had thought it would be. You know, at the end of the day, Professor X, Nick Fury, Mockingbird, Maria Hill, these cards are just so good that they're often what we are recurring. And as usual, the actually turning on the damage on the villains is kind of the last thing you do once you have enough amassed to do that. Looking at all my kind of wasted stuns and confuses, it maybe wasn't as clever as I thought to do this matchup, because they're just not going to activate enough to kind of have every one of those get blocked. Maybe I felt like there were more of the cards that gave these guys extra activations in the encounter deck, but the way it goes is, right, if Pestilence is stunned, he attacks, the active counter doesn't move off of him, so it'll just stay there until he does get an activation off, and then it moves on to the next one. So yeah, kind of feels bad at all the wasted statuses there, but hey, a win's a win. So we keep it rolling in the Age of Apocalypse. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.